All right, yeah, sweet.
So,
Look at that. It came out just in
yeah,
time.
literally seconds after we decided to call it a night. They were like, "Good joke, guys. 9:02 is the time. It's the ideal time to drop a trailer."
Yeah, when we say we're gonna drop something tonight, we mean 9:02, not 9 o'clock or anything else. So let's jump in it. Let's break down the trailer and we'll just stitch the episodes together. Uh,
Yep.
First impression I think is it's a good trailer. It looks cool.
Good trailer. I like the soundtrack behind it. Nick Fury, he's looking super old, but also like he's here for one last round. It felt very inspired, is what I feel like. It feels like John Wick and the Matrix. That's how this movie feels inspired. Like the villain guy, the scroll, he's straight up just he feels like Mr. Smith. That's how I felt the entire trailer. I was like, okay, so this is just Mr. Smith. Got it. Or Agent Smith.
The bad guy, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I think it looks. I mean, based on the trailers, I bet it's going to be more like Falcon Winter Soldier than like an actual cool sci-fi. Which isn't to say like I like Falcon Winter Soldier. I
Yeah, I
think
like Falcon
that's.
Winter Soldier too.
I think it's going to end up in that sort of vein. It's going to have that feel to it, just a little less friendly because we don't have a buddy cop running around with us. I like
Right.
the Emilia Clarke looks really cool. Oh, I hear myself talking, which is
Yep,
good.
that was me making sure we were running. Yep, we're going good.
Excellent.
Continue.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I think the trailer looks interesting. I think it looks as good as like that early Phase 4 stuff that they actually like. It seemed like that was planned stuff, and then it sort of got off the rails a little bit. I think it seems as good as that stuff and like the early shows, which is
I
exciting.
like the idea of this being like a war that no one else is seeing. I like that quite a bit. I mean, the name kind of implies that that's what it was going to be, but this trailer definitely backed that up. That it's he doesn't want the Avengers involved in this conflict at all. He's kind of like fighting in the shadows type of thing, fighting an evil organization. I don't know. It's been done before, but I'm excited to see a new take on it. I will say.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see. I mean, Rhodey and stuff like that. Like it leans credence that there will be cameos. I don't think they'll be quite as high level of cameos as some people want them to be, but the cameos are nice because you never know if it's going to be that character or if it's just someone in disguise.
I'm excited for Markobi Smulders. I mean, she's Agent Maria Hill has always been one of those characters. Is like, yeah, I mean, she literally takes over Nick Fury's job whenever he's kind of off planet or off doing his own thing or when he's dead, and yet she doesn't really get the flower she deserves all the time. So it's cool that she's getting a pretty prominent role here. Um, yeah, War Machine, he clearly, he's going to be playing a part in this. I hope he doesn't go overboard because I don't know. He just feels like the character they throw in to like relate you to the
It is
MCU.
annoying. It's
And
definitely
I'm
annoying.
like, I don't really love that because it's like he is a better character than just like, okay, well, we can't have one of
Yeah,
the big guys show up. So
but he's
here's
not though. He's
here's
not
B
that
team.
problem.
Exactly.
Yep, he's just relegated to that at all times, which is fine. I mean, would be surprised if Wong shows up somehow. I like this stuff. I like the way it looked. I'm excited for the action. It seemed fun. I like the weird powers they had, which I don't understand quite how that is a thing. It never shows that scrolls can do that, or is that guy different than scrolls? Like, is it
He
a
might be a super scroll, which I believe is a different race of scroll, which is interesting. I
okay?
don't know a whole
That
lot
makes
about it
sense. Yep.
personally, but yeah, there's a different breed. It's almost like I don't know, mutants in our world is the way I kind of view it.
The interesting, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I
Yeah,
view
the
it. I mean,
interesting.
I know it because of Marvel Snap. Which shout out to that mobile game. If you guys aren't playing it, definitely jump on it. I play it mindlessly all the time. It's great. It's also free, so get on that.
Gotta love free mobile games until they aren't free anymore because you have a problem like me. That's why I don't play Marvel Snap. But no, I mean that makes sense. I think the fun part is Secret Wars is a big deal. I think like
Yeah.
it's a big deal in like the nerd community. Like if you were a comic book person, it's a big deal. You know it's a big deal. I haven't read it, so I'm not. It's not a big deal to me.
Well, that's the interesting thing is like I don't
But I
know. I
like
mean,
iconic
it depends
things.
on what your jam is really what it comes down to. This comic arc didn't fall into what I considered my jam, so I didn't read it either. But I'm not opposed to it. Like maybe when we get closer to the show, read a graphic novel or two and talk about it in that context and see if we can compare and contrast like what they did good and what they failed on. But
The show's still a ways out. I
Yeah,
mean,
ways
June
away.
is- that's a
June's a ways. I think that's
Yeah.
our next. We got Guardians next, and then that's following, and that's
So I
our
don't-
Marvel schedule for a while.
Yeah,
So
I don't love that it's so far out, but it is what it is. I am excited about it. We might have Noah coming in to give us a last second little addition, but we like the trailer. Noah, did you watch Secret Invasion trailer?
I did.
good man.
Tell
What did
us,
you
What do you
think?
think?
I'm loving the tone. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
the dark, atmospheric, almost crime drama
Yeah,
feel to it. So that's definitely what I'm most looking forward to. I've been trying to go on this train of not really. So this will be the only trailer that I watch. I've been trying to go into most comic book things now completely
free.
blind because
Yeah.
when you know the comics, when you read the comics and you get the littlest inkling of something, you go, all right, I already know the storyline.
Yeah.
And they do try and change it, but I'm trying to go in.
I was gonna say, Noah. We just admitted, both of us, that we haven't read Secret Invasion. Did you read any part of that on the while it was coming out, or well, I guess it came out prior to us, right? I don't remember when that came out.
Which
but-
Secret Invasion?
Exactly.
Which season? I've read both of them, but
Okay, well, I'm good. You're the resident expert, because I was like, if it doesn't fall within your jam, then it doesn't, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
for me.
tell us in the audience what's with the superpowers that these scrolls seem to
The
have
Super
now.
Scroll, right? Was I right about that?
Super Scroll, yes. Which Super Scroll is genuinely a Fantastic Four villain. That's
Yep.
how most people recognize them. Is definitely taking on the powers of the Fantastic Four.
Right.
But I'm very. So I think they're definitely going to be pulling a lot of inspiration from the Kree invasion, the secret invasion, where a bunch of not the Kree invasion, the Skrull invasion, because they're able to metamorphosize and stuff like that. I'm wondering on how they're going to play up Super Skrull. Like, is he different by all means? Like the one in the comics, there's like the one that is considered the Super Skrull, and I don't remember if he had a radiation or he touched base with one of the Fantastic Four, and from there was able to mimic all of their powers.
Explaining how his power. I mean, the only one that's kind of revealed in the trailer is him extending his arm in a very Mr. Fantastic way. Also looked a little bit more like Groot to me, but Mr. Fantastic is what we'll go with. So I'm wondering how he got it. Yeah.
It does seem like they wanted to have a definitive bad guy, which makes sense because the last time we saw the Skrulls, they were the good
WandaVision
guys.
post credit, right? So the last time we saw Skrulls,
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
WandaVision post credit.
But they're like the good guys. They were the good
Well-
guys in Captain Marvel. So
Yeah,
it's weird.
because
So
I
I think
for some reason I was
I
like,
think
maybe
the
they were
Super
Miss
Skrull
Marvel. They
idea
were.
makes sense. I think the Super Skrull idea makes sense. That
but yeah, you need to have like a main, and yeah, it's cool that he has like his minions and stuff. Did you get the Agent Smith vibe too, Noah, from the Matrix? Because that's what I was picking up on it.
Yeah, and it definitely, when they were doing like who protects you and stuff like that, I was like, okay, they're giving some Matrixy vibes. Like, do you trust who? I did like seeing Rhodey. I thought that was kind of cool.
oh, my battery is gonna
To
die.
lead into Armor Wars. Oh, you think Rhodey's gonna die? I mean, he has his.
No,
moves.
he
Well,
said-
that's not my battery's gonna die. I think
Laptop died.
I think someone will die, but it'll be a bait. It'll be a scroll. Which is showed, and they gave it away on the one character, the agent, which is interesting. It does. I wonder if it's going to do any like retroactive sort of he was a scroll the whole time kind of things, or just in the moment they're scrolls now. Like, are we going to find out that the whole time Rhodey was a scroll? That'd be interesting.
Oh, that'd be
See, now
wild.
I was going to ask you guys, because the whole point of Secret Invasion, when they first introduced Secret Invasion in the comics, anyone and everyone could have been a scroll. Do you think
Right.
they're going to
Don't-
retroactively make someone a scroll who's been a scroll this entire time? And if so,
I
who do you
know.
think?
I
It's
think it's going to
gonna
be
be-
someone small.
'cause
It's
the
gonna
one-
be someone small.
It has to be someone small because,
Shannon.
like, yeah, it's someone like that. Yeah, like Agent 37. That's what Shannon is, right? That one will work.
Agent
You
13?
get 13. Yeah, what I say 37. That's
What-
Dick
what's his
Grayson's
face?
agent name.
What's his face from the Black Panther movies? Martin Freeman's character.
Oh, yeah, Martin Short's character.
Ross. No, not Ross.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but
It
No,
yeah,
doesn't
Ross.
matter.
You're thinking of
Yeah, no,
Thunderbolt.
I know Thaddeus Ross. I know. I got it. It
like
doesn't
someone
actually matter.
like that would make sense,
Everett.
you know.
Everett,
But
thank you. Good Lord.
I don't think it'll be anyone who was ever like a titular character. It's not going to be anyone.
We got to
like
keep in
that.
mind like who's gotten hurt on camera and like if at that point like did they bleed or I don't know if scrolls have that same ability, like did they heal quickly? There's a lot of weird things that expose shapeshifters in comic books and movies and things like that. So I don't know. We'll see. You're probably right though. It's going to be someone that like showed up in the background of one Marvel movie in 2011. All right, Coach has
They've
officially
just
died.
Been
R.I.P.
in there. Oh.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's
no,
that's good.
in terms of like the trailer. Huh?
Go ahead. No, you're good.
Oh no, I was just gonna say in terms of the trailer. Again, as someone who's been kind of going out of his pocket, it did make me excited for Marvel again in a very small way. But I have been feeling like the TV shows have been hitting a lot better than the movies have lately. And I
think
know
so?
that
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's a tough one. Well, Quantumanium was not what anyone really wanted it to be. A couple of people really liked it, but most people were just calling it mid. And surprisingly, because Wakanda Forever was what it was, like there were certain things that people loved about it, but then there were other things that just were overkill. Like that whole battle on the freight liner with the Midnight Angel, that thing drives me nuts, dude. I'm so glad. All right, Losty boys. Sorry, my laptop died, Coach. Yeah, we kind of assumed by your battery almost being dead, but
Yeah.
glad you're with us in spirit.
I do think that, but for me, I think the reason that I was saying that the TV shows have been hitting a little bit more. I know for most people, my wife's show was not everyone's cup of tea, which is She-Hulk.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
but it did give you what TV shows do better than movies is it feels like it feels like a comic in terms that it's episodic. You
Yep.
are getting the next chapter. You're getting the next issue.
They can
in the
lean on the
next
cliffhanger thing. Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point, Noah, because that's the main difference that I guess non-comic book readers don't really get, because there's a difference between like a graphic novel that was written as a graphic novel and then there's the collections of a series. Because if you get a graphic novel that's a collection of like Nightwing 1 through 7, then you get like 6 cliffhangers kind of thing that trying to get you to read further into the story. But if you read something like Batman the Killing Joke, it's a very cohesive unit that goes from front to back, more like a movie. So this one definitely feels like the type of thing that it's going to work a lot better as a TV show as opposed to a movie, because you can have, I don't know, a build up and tear down. Plus it's just longer. I mean, Secret Invasion, if I remember correctly, it ran for a good couple years. Like it wasn't like a short storyline. So doing it as a TV show is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, and I think they just need to really work on the fact, like you said, is like leaving those cliffhangers, because that's when the movies can come in and answer a bunch of questions. And these are like the TV shows are very much like the Prelude series, or like, oh, you want to get into Spider-Verse? Here, read like the prelude or the lead-in.
Yeah,
think
there's always that bit too. Someone just commented, it might be Coach. I don't know. It says Facebook user, but even if it's better as TV, will it get the respect that it deserves from the audience? That's a fair point, because there's the moviegoer Marvel fans, and then there's I don't know, if you want to call them the true blue Marvel fans that subscribe to Disney Plus and are there every week when the episodes are dropping. And there's nothing wrong with either of them, but I think it is Coach, and he loves you both. Good, glad to know that, Coach. But yeah, it won't get as much respect, but at the same time, it's in continuity. So no matter what you do, eventually someone's going to get a Disney Plus like free subscription or whatever, and they're going to go through and watch all of the Marvel shows. It might not show directly on what's going to be happening for the next movie. Like it might take a little while for people to catch up, but I think it's going to work out pretty well, because I don't think this one will work at all as a movie. I'll just say that straight up. It feels like too large and feels a little too complicated. Like
too
trying
many
to fit
moving
this
pieces.
exactly.
There are way too many moving pieces.
There's so many, like there's a whole storyline here, and I get that like you can fit a lot within a movie, especially with the new 3-hour time limit that everybody seems to be hitting. But at the same time, nothing's going to compare to, I don't know how many episodes is going to be, 6 to 10, somewhere in there. That's how many episodes this show is going to be, and I think we're going to need every minute of it.
And I honestly like the fact it's kind of interesting how we've moved over to the TV aspect, because like Civil War theoretically should have been its own limited series. But
Yes.
in terms of what Coach question about like, is it going to get the respect? I think, and I mean, I might be throwing this to the wind, but I feel like the TV series in terms of recognition has always been superior. People paid attention to WandaVision as a multi-level thing, acting wise, stuff like that, so much bigger than just Endgame, or as much as those make billions of dollars. When you look at the grassroots of it all, when you look at like the individual pieces, the TV shows are the ones that have consistently been getting recognition.
Listen, I mean, in the age, I know I sound like a little bit of an old fart, but in this age, like the streaming age, everybody like they watch their TV shows. They like to watch a whole series. Like, my wife is an example. She definitely prefers the TV show way of storytelling. It's a lot harder to get her to sit down and watch a 2-hour movie as opposed to breaking it apart in a 6-part episode where things can build and, essentially, build into some great thing by the end of it. I think it's two different ways of telling a story, and like I already said, this one feels like they need to take advantage of the long. It's more of a marathon for this one. And yeah, good point. Like, how many Emmys did WandaVision win? A lot. And how many Oscars has Marvel won outside of the costuming? I mean, a couple. I mean, the costuming like I know we almost got our Angela Bassett, which our queen was robbed, and I will not stand for this, except I can do nothing about it.
But I mean, at the same time, like I think that's what like Marvel needs to recognize. Even DC, like I feel like DC won something for like a Doom Patrol or something like way back when. It might have been costumes, but it was something very, very, very like far back. But
yeah,
TV is better for comic book storytelling, in my opinion. And then when you want to have that big bombastic,
make you $1 billion at the box office, yeah, I think the way Marvel's doing things right now, it makes sense that they're taking lesser known characters, giving them a TV show, and then having their big guys take the swing. With the exception of Ant-Man, I think that was a mistake to give him 4 movies, like or 3 movies, whatever. What are we doing here? He's not that big of a character, but outside of Ant-Man, everybody else is kind of heavy hitters that's getting the movies. And then like characters like Moon Knight and She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel that are all super fun to watch, doing them in a TV show format was much better for the character. Because can you imagine trying to tell the entire story of Moon Knight in one movie? It wouldn't track, I don't think. I think that one's one of the ones where it just had to be a TV show. And you're right, we have to keep in mind that like comics are the source material, and by and large, they come out once per month. That's how comic books work, and that's how the storylines carry over. It's like when you take a novel and bring it to a film, that makes a lot of sense. But if you're taking a comic book that was a 12-issue run, that makes sense as, an 8-episode TV show. And I get that there's a level of respect that these shows don't get. But I that's going to change soon, man. I think it's
the best way I can put it. The best way I can put it, and it's because Japan's been doing this for years, is manga.
Yep.
Manga translates really well into anime because it's episodic, once a week, once a month, what have you. They can do chapter by chapter. The reason that most manga like adaptations of like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that don't work as movies, because you have so much to tell in a short amount of time.
There's too much to like. Yeah, you're just eating too much. There's too much on your plate, and trying to break it down in a 2.5 hour, 3-hour movie. It's just, for the most part, it's not something you can do. It's not the smart way to do it, because you're leaving too much like quality stuff on the cutting room floor. you're really putting the fans at just you're doing them a disservice at that point. You're robbing them of this really good storytelling, and I don't think that should be a problem. I get that less people are going to watch the shows, but the people that you're getting to watch the shows are the more important fans, in my opinion, because a lot of people go to the movies and it's great, but I think we can see that every movie. Oh, Noah's getting a phone call. Every movie we see, like the box office is going further and further down for the most part. There's a couple of exceptions, but I think movie theater, they're not dying, but there's definitely less interest when they have same day streaming sometimes, or Netflix. They've started dropping movies like a week early in theaters, and I can't imagine those box office numbers are great because people are just like, oh, it's going to be on Netflix next week. What am I going to go to the movies for when I can just watch it on my couch later? And I think of this post-COVID world, TV shows is really the best and only way to go about. Well, not the only way, because we still got a Spider-Man movie that we can drop every couple of years that'll make us $1 billion, which is great. And by us, I mean
I was going to say that
$0.
certain characters do have that luxury. We have our Spider-Man, our Batman, our Superman, where you could throw out a Batman movie because he has so many different stories and he has so many different graphic novels that you can tell 2-hour, 3-hour long Batman, because you don't need to show his parents dying. We know his parents died.
Yep.
We know
there's certain characters that are just in the zeitgeist of humanity. And you're right. You just hit the main three. It's like everybody knows who each of those characters are. They know at least most of their origin story. We can just, cut the nonsense beforehand and just get to the real deal. That's really all we have to do. Like The Batman was a great example of that. They're like, hey, this is Batman year 2 or whatever, and moving on. We're not going to touch on his stupid parents dying for the 6th time on the cinema. This is Batman. Here's a new story featuring characters in a new light, and I think that's great. But if you tried to take, again, a character like Moon Knight, you can't do that because no one knows who he is. Yeah. You have to give him a TV show where you get a couple of episodes to explain who this guy is, what his powers are, how he's going to affect the MCU as a whole. But there's big swingers, the big hitters. You keep putting them in theaters, but I don't know if I quite agree with the idea of Disney Plus cutting back on TV shows. I know I kind of go back and forth on that because I don't want things to get oversaturated, but there's certain stories that just have to be told in that format.
I think 3 and 3 works out really well. That gives you 6 projects a year. Yep. That is one every 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a smart way to do it because it's not expecting the audience to do too much because, the year 2022, we had a lot of TV shows. They were almost back to back, alternating between those shows and the Star Wars shows. And it was a great time to be a fan and a host of the Marvel Stuff podcast, obviously, because we had something new to talk about every week. But at the same time, it's just like it almost felt like a chore. It's not as much fun anymore. So there's a happy medium that I think they're slowly starting to find, and I'm excited for the future of the MCU, which is something that you can't always say because they fumble the ball every once in a while, which is something we couldn't have said 10 years ago.
10 years ago would have been 2013.
Maybe Iron Man 2 wasn't the ball. They were like,
I was gonna say they were getting ready to fumble the ball with Iron Man 3, and I don't even think that's their fault. I think that was more behind the scenes issues.
Yep, no doubt. Well, Noah, what are you most excited about for Secret Invasion, and we'll kind of close it out at that point.
Oh, I'm so excited to see my mans again. I've been missing It's so intriguing how they've truly made Nick Fury feel so needed in the MCU and to not really have Samuel L. Jackson for what felt like
a while, dude. He'll do a quick cameo every once in a while. You got to give the guy respect. He's like 60 hustling, making 3 projects a year. He's the man. And that's the best part about Nick Fury, the comic book character, and the way he's getting translated to the MCU. Like he is kind of just this quiet power that doesn't always have to be presence for you to know that he's there. And that's how I feel about it. Someone just said I low-key look forward to Emilia Clarke the most. They stole what I was going to say. I agree. Daenerys is my queen, so keep getting her in the MCU is going to be sick. I'm really excited to see her. I hope that they give her a pretty good character.
Yeah, I'm intrigued on what her role. Yeah.
Yes. Yep,
Her role
I
is
agree.
my
And
biggest thing. Is like,
I don't know who she is yet. I mean,
just
we're gonna
Talos'
find out.
daughter. Oh,
Oh,
I
well,
thought
there
it
you
was
go.
already announced.
It probably is
Yeah, she's
announced.
the
I just
older
didn't
version
know
of
that for sure.
Talos' daughter.
Okay, well that's cool. I'm into it. Emilia Clarke's great, and I'm excited to see her future MCU projects. You're looking forward to more classic Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson. Let him
Yes.
say
And the
the F word,
Fantastic Four.
please.
Now we're getting 2 Fantastic Four, hit 3 almost if you think about it, with the scientist from WandaVision, and we had the doc,
Oh,
the
no, the Doctor
teacher
Doom.
the teacher from MIT.
Yeah, we had the box with the stamp for Latveria or whatever when what was it, Moon Knight? And, there's a lot of cameos they're building up for Fantastic Four, and yeah, me and Coach talked about
and
that
now
just a
Super
little bit.
Scroll. Like, it's just
It's coming, guys. I hope everyone's excited for Marvel's first family to make their triumphant return to the screen. We got to see a quick sneak preview of John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic, and that was all well and good, but Fantastic Four, you need more. The last time they did a film, they really fumbled the ball there, and it kind of left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. But these characters are awesome. Let's not forget that they're legendary. Please give me a true translation of the Fantastic Four. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we haven't gotten one. I honestly don't believe that we've gotten one. We got
You didn't like the first
kind
movie?
of good in the first one. The first one is the closest that I can get, but going back and watching it, it was in that era that I was talking to one of my close friends about. It's in that middle ground between camp and leather daddy of the Marvel cinematic, of the Marvel universe.
You're right
You got
about that, because it was right early 2000s right there with the X-Men and their biker outfits. Yeah.
Yeah, that Daredevil, Ghost Rider, but also you had like Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, which were like your camp side, your little jokes here and there, your quips, the throwing in the theme song in some random way. And then you had your Leather Daddy, which was your Daredevil, your dark, gritty for no reason other than like, oh, we got to make someone like look at this.
I
Put 'em
mentioned earlier in the
spandex.
episode that I'm a goth enthusiast, so anything that's remotely gothic, sign me up. And Daredevil being a sad boy in church, yeah, sign me up for more of that. Go Evanescence in the background while Elektra's stabbing sandbags. I don't care, man. That's sick.
That's that Leather Daddy era. And here's the thing, I enjoy Leather Daddy era. It's really funny. It's great. I enjoyed the hell out of it. But it was also that era of you were either getting camp, like some of these jokes don't land anymore. Rewatch
I
the
know.
Fantastic Four movie.
Well, it's hard for any film to age or show. It's just like things become less, and things become more problematic and less nice to see later in life. But you just gotta respect that they were what they were at the time, and we have fond memories of them. Yep, love Fantastic Four. Can't wait to see more of them. Noah, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about? Because you missed the first section of the episode here. Spider-Man game coming in September. Hope you're excited. Looks like it might be a 2-player thing, so if you want to stream some good stuff where we be Miles and Peter, that might be fun.
Oh my dude. Other than that, I just picked up The Fall of X.
Oh, that's the newer one, right?
X-Men. Yeah, I've really been trying to get back into X-Men. It's hard because it's confusing.
Well, they did that whole Krakoa storyline where they're all on Krakoa now, which is like it's a cool idea that it's the mutant island, but I miss our mansion in Westchester, man. Like, give me back to the Xavier Institute. That's the true X-Men to me. Yeah, I've been trying to keep up on Wolverine a little bit. I've given up on it 2 or 3 times, then I come back and it's like I like the story. I love that character, but this is not the X-Men Renaissance in the comic books right now. So hopefully they kind of pick that up a bit. But the idea that it's Avengers, X-Men, and the Eternals, like they're doing the Axe storyline.
Cool. Yeah, and I've been enjoying Axe. I've been reading a little bit of Axe. I want to get there's a Gambit has his first solo series in like forever. So I'm really excited about reading that because he's been a character that I've always liked, but I've never paid attention to his background because
he's been my second favorite X-Men always. He's great. I liked him in the 80s TV show or the 90s TV show when it was in both.
The animated.
Yes.
That Cajun
was my
accent,
jam.
I understand a
Yo,
word that
Cajun
man's saying.
accent. Yeah, it did it for me. Him and Rogue, they were a fun couple to follow. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
we won't talk about that too much. Thank you guys for joining for that quick reaction. Actually, it wasn't even a quick reaction. Thank you for another half-hour episode talking about Secret Invasion here. We appreciate every one of you for hopping in. I saw a lot of people jumping in the comments, and we love seeing those numbers on the live streams. And share with your friends. Check the poll this week, and we will be doing a quiz at a different point. We'll get Noah for that and see if he can smoke
let me
me
ace
in
this
some
test.
fun quiz stuff. Anyway, in the words of the Immortal Coach, have fun, but not too much fun without